off, and he would, it would be red, white, and blue.
Make sure you
That's
tape
what-
it. We're on.
Tape rolling? Okay. We'll call this meeting of Sunny County Commissioners to order on Thursday, January 12th. Please join me in the pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, will you please lead us in prayer?
Please bow your heads. Lord, thank you for the opportunity to serve in this capacity. Give us a steady hand as we dispense with county business. In your name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Here.
Commissioner Thomas,
Here.
Commissioner Stacy. Yep.
Okay, I will accept the motion to accept the journal and the accompanying documents for the meeting January 9th.
So moved.
Reorganization meeting, thank you.
Second.
All those in favor signify by, we have to, actually, we have to take a roll call. no?
Nope, not that one, no.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, any adjustments to the agenda? I'm going to add human resource discussion to the old business.
I've got a little update on the bees in old business.
Okay, to be or not to be?
Oh, thank you. Go with it.
Anything else? Okay, hearing none, Justice Center update, I'll let Commissioner Stacy bring us up to date there.
Okay, what I did forget to look is, I don't know if they had a report end of last week or not, because I know based on days and so forth, but anyway, I don't think much different from what I had said on Tuesday and what you can see. We got first set of elevator shafts revealed, scaffolding down, moved to the double elevator, public elevator shafts in the building is what that tower is that they're working on. There's probably a construction meeting today.
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday, every Thursday that they have, and our next leadership team meeting isn't until the end of the month, and that fourth Thursday? Yeah, time capsule, a little bit updated at the Justice Center. There's a couple of folks from the Historical Society, and then from the Tiffin Historic Trust that Dr. Bing and Mark Steinmetz that I've been talking with. And so we're all exploring a bunch of different ideas and going to keep working through those, and then obviously have a huge outreach about confirming what a kind of a list it is. We got some dimensions now by the leadership team meeting. We're supposed to let them know if that's adequate. I'm going to tell them I want an 8x8 room and just see what they say, but I know the answer to that. But anyway, we're working on all those related things.
Perfect, so in summary, so far with the Justice Center, we got the shaft. Ron, so you can, would you like to make your presentation here?
Yeah, Jim's gonna start.
Jim Nordholt, welcome.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for allowing us to speak briefly. And let me start with a brief aside. Welcome, Shane, to the Board of Commissioners, and I owe you an apology.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
We have a sort of a running joke at our board meetings because Dr. Zinn loves to just nitpick our minutes. So he wasn't at the meeting last night. He'd done the minutes for the prior meeting, and he misspelled your first name. I come this morning and I look and I said, oh darn, I misspelled his name on my introduction letter here. So I'm going to have to apologize to him.
That's all right. It's not legally binding.
Yeah, our purpose here is just to acknowledge, we understand support each of you individually in some cases and as a board have given us over the years. And to let you know that we're going through a transition time and we want to coordinate with you, keep you updated on our transition, and we'll be sure to do that. Currently, we are working on our job description and our desires for what we need in a leader for our organization as we look to hiring a professional leader versus the volunteer leaders that have carried us quite well through 20 years. We hope to publicize a job posting in the near future, working through the channels that we've been advised are best, and look forward to perhaps having someone on board mid-year. We expect a year of work to transition from a volunteer organization to one that now has taxpayer support, and that sure causes us a lot more responsibility. We've kind of said to each other, it might have been easier when we had no money. But thank you for having us here. We'll be glad to answer any questions you might have about what we're doing and what we plan to do.
And I appreciate all of you also. And I offer a personal tour of all of our parks, if ever you would want to go on one.
Not today.
Got 'em out by
A number of years ago, a person was displeased with Steyer, and we decided to walk it. And it was just pouring down rain. And he said, well, you won't want to go today, would you? And he had given me such a rough time. I said, well, naturally, I want to go today. I came to go. And we walked for an hour and a half in the rain. And when we got back, I had a new personal friend. So the weather never makes a difference to me. But I do extend that invitation. We have a tremendous park system, as good as any in the state, with all volunteers and little or no income. And we're extremely proud of that. And I want to show it off every opportunity that I get. So if you want a personal tour, many of you have been in our parks. Shane, I'm not sure if you've been in our parks very much or not.
Everyone.
Oh, great. But if you ever want a personal tour, we got it. And
I have a request for a tour. I would love, and I've never seen this, and mentioned this yesterday. I've never been for the preschool. Is it possible we can go when they have school?
most certainly.
I think that would be, I don't know about you guys, but you have grandkids. I don't have any little kids in my life. I need to.
I'll lend you some.
For those of you that don't know, we have the first nature-based preschool east of the Mississippi. There are now 2 others in the state of Ohio, and we're extremely pleased with that. We're known in the state of Ohio for our preschool. It's one of our legacies.
I actually had 2 of the grandbabies attend that for a year, so.
Awesome.
Anytime. Linda Rose does that Monday morning, Wednesday morning, Friday morning, and a simple call to Linda would,
Okay.
you would be more than welcome.
Or give one of us a call. We'll go out with you. We like to go out there.
There's a lot of
So I need to
carpool.
target a Monday, Wednesday, or a Friday.
Yes.
There's a lot of carpools, parents taking them there. So you could probably just jump on
Just-
that.
There's one thing I need to warn you though. If the temperature's 5 below 0, you will be outside.
Yes.
If it's raining, you
Wear my
will
Carhartts.
be outside, all
If
right?
you have to go to potty, you
You
will
will
be outside.
Now,
Okay.
now we do have facilities.
Well, that's their biggest thrill. One of their biggest thrills.
Yes.
I'm gonna leave an example of what you have given us in the past, okay?
Well, from my perspective, I really want to thank all the volunteers who have created this park system over the last 20 years,
20
15 years. Yeah.
Years.
So we have recreation areas. They're widely geographically dispersed across the entire county, so everybody has access to it. That's a beautiful thing. And, I'm happy that the voters bought in and supported you in your efforts to seek a levy. That kind of speaks to, the 20 years of effort that you've contributed in your matching fund and sweat equity. So I do appreciate that. And from the commissioner standpoint, I'm speaking just for myself, I would love to see us continue to support you, through your transition, have a conversation on an annual basis and see what, how we best interact as you come up and become, stand on your own 2 feet that way. We'd love to talk to you about facility needs and, how we can help you down the road, because parks and recreation areas are important to the quality of life and retaining people in our community. So, and I have I think he used virtually every area in the park system, you know, to mountain bike, to jog, to hike. So very, very fond of him personally. So I thank you for your efforts.
Yeah, I would echo Commissioner Thomas's comments, in that I would also like to make certain that whatever support we can give you, within reason, that we do, and continue to do that. I think I've had some conversations, I know I've had some conversations about, you know, some of the things that you may now be able to assume because of the levy, but there are also other things that we've done that hopefully we can continue to do. We'll need to kind of, you know, go over those piece by piece after you guys had a chance to do your budget and say, okay, you know, I know we talked about the probable need for more space, and, you know, we certainly need to have that conversation. So whatever we can do to support you, we're gonna do.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have one other thing. We have a volunteer banquet every year. This year, it's Wednesday, March 8th, 6:30, at the Sunset.
Somerset.
Somerset facility down here.
And the program will be
Mission on Aging.
our first 20 years. And we really would appreciate seeing
It's
you
always,
and
it's
your-
always a good.
It is a good program.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, she's gonna have another silent auction or a regular
No,
auction?
we hope to bring back the people that started our park district. And instead of the silent auction, it is our hope that people will stand around and talk and discuss the history, the first 20 years of the Seneca County Park District.
Okay, perfect.
Please, please attend, think about it. Bring your wives and husbands too, okay?
Significant others.
Significant others.
Yes.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. Okay, let's talk about human resource. Again, I had talked to a number of individuals within the county, a number of officers, department heads, and elected officials who have some areas within their, you know, within their offices that deal partially with HR. We had talked about the possibility of, you know, long-term having a human resource specialist or a human resource department for the county. We have 600 plus employees. So what I'd like to do with the permission of this board is to form a task force and include all those folks that have some HR responsibilities, including Department of Jobs and Family Services and our current situation in the auditor's office with Tasha, and CSB folks have somebody to do it part-time, and the Sheriff's Office has somebody. Anyways, to assemble all those folks and to talk about, is there a way to do it more efficiently and more professionally, if possible. No shots at anything that's going on now, other than maybe there's a better way. So if you folks agree, I will get that formed and start talking about ways that maybe we can improve that function.
I think that's a good idea. I think it's something that probably every commissioner's ever come in, questions after you get in and doing things, and how do we get this done, how do we get that done? And then with so many entities, I think the health department is probably one of those that has somebody that kind of handles that function. We have somebody that kind of handles that function. DJFS does, et cetera. There might be work smarter, not harder on some of those thoughts, I think make a lot of sense. And just to the point, just for the sake of articles or whatever, the 600 employees is 600 that goes through our payroll, but they're not all county employees.
Right.
That includes, doesn't include DGFS, includes the health department
That's all.
and school. No, school
Yes.
lab,
600, everybody.
that includes all those. They're all
Yeah.
under our umbrella
Right,
of
they are,
county
but
employees.
the idea
They're
here is
under our
that.
But they're under our HR, yes.
Right, the idea would be to have somebody who, even though they might not be under our umbrella directly, that person would effectively manage the human resource function for that many people.
Yes, and assist all those people when they need to fill positions, handle employee stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that, Shane?
Just kind of a logistics question. Do we have a mechanism for forming a task force, or is it just an informal task force? Is there a by resolution task force, or is it just an informal?
No, it's just, we don't really have a mechanism that I'm aware of.
No, we can
We've got-
establish any committee's task force at any
What we
point in
basically
time.
do is, what I would basically do in this case is send mass email out to department heads and elected officials saying, anybody that wants to be part of this, initially come in, and then typically what would happen is out of that group, we would decide amongst that group 4 or 5 people that would represent each area and then go forward. I don't have any predetermined end game here.
Yeah, no, I understand.
But my hope is that group would come up with something that makes a lot of sense. We're putting a lot of money in different human resource areas that might be better spent to have a centralized.
So would you entertain a motion to form a task force? Is that,
Well, I want to just inform you guys of it in session that that's what I'd like to do, and if there was any objections, I'd want to hear that.
Okay.
And if not, I'll just go forward and keep the board updated.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, let's talk about bees. Shane?
all right. I think we got stung a little bit the other day. I wanted to continue to follow up on this. So I called the Department of Agriculture and talked to Dan Kenny down there. And he's collating some data for us as far as how many hives we have in the county. There is a concern that some of the diseases are communicable. And so if you're not inspecting for them, you can have an adverse effect, especially on the fruits and vegetable folks from a commercial standpoint. So, I also talked to Farm Bureau, and they have a position that, you should have an inspector. That's their official position on that issue. So what I would like to recommend is that we put it back on the agenda for July 11th, which is 6 months out. Give us some time to collect the data, find out how much activity we actually have in Seneca County, and whether or not it's something that we need to be more into.
Perfect.
So I kind of like this short meeting schedule so we can follow up on these things pretty quickly, as far as leave them.
I heard from 2 folks who gave your extension number too. I said, well, Shane's looking into that, so share that. One is from the side of some producers who rent the hives, and not being just the one that I live with, but some of the folks that we do the vegetable crop stuff with asked him some things about it, and he said he was going to pass it along. And I said, well, Shane's looking into it, so they wanted to tell you a little bit about what they know commercially has been done that hasn't. It has been a lot done to try to prevent the disease and other things that are causing the limited number of access of rentable beehives. And then Beth Deach with Soil Conservation Service this morning, she said she saw the article in the paper, and they've done a lot of work on pollinators and that kind of stuff. And I said, reach out to Shane with any information you want to share and so forth on that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
great.
So
You got the same email I did from the gentleman that was here?
I did not.
Okay, I'll forward that to you.
Okay.
I didn't see
Gave me
that.
the contact info on the person that does this in Sandusky County.
Okay.
Okay. So, the next the next item is the Quando final bill. I'll open that up for discussion at this point.
I guess my question is, I know what some of the concerns have been, but do we need to have any action if we're desiring not to pay the bill, or the discussion is if we think the bill, or is on the content of the bill? I don't know what we need. If we're gonna just pay it, we don't need any formal action. I meant to ask you this last time, I forgot.
Yeah, I've got a bill for $34,626 for November, which was the same amount we received in October.
Did we pay October?
We did pay October, but prior to that, the amounts were much lower, and I think that was where some of the discrepancy had come in, that when we gave them notification that we were no longer gonna use their services, and I'm not gonna use the right words, that they wanted to do a catch-up. They had spread the bills out to last us through the rest of the project, and was billing accordingly, and then when we gave them notice,
Okay, let's talk about some facts here.
Okay.
How much, with the bill that we paid in October, without the new bill, how much have we paid them?
let me see, the total bill to date is 192, so take the 34,000 off of the 192, so 160.
Okay, 156. Okay, 160, okay, let's call it 160. And what was the total contract initially?
300?
300,000 not counting reimbursables, and that added another 4,000.
Okay, so $304,000. What percentage of the project for the Justice Center is complete at this point, approximately?
I would
All right,
say.
let's talk about as of November 30th, because that's the date of termination. All right?
The 30th? Yeah.
At that point, we had been, based on the stuff,
Somewhere-
September 15th was technically the start.
Okay. As I recall, about November 30th, the meeting showed us about 10% complete.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the logic, mathematical concern that I have. Pretty straightforward, is that we've got a $300,000 contract for an owner's representative that has been representing us since the beginning. The project is 10% complete at the time of termination, and we have paid them to date more than 50% of their contract. They're asking for another $34,000, which would put us at about 66% of the contract on a project that is 10% complete at the time of termination. We made it very clear from the beginning that we wanted a 30-day out. As far as I know, and I did reread the contract, as far as I know, there was no specification or no articulation as it related to a structure of payments to them. I was surprised, frankly, when we gave them notice that the next thing that happened was the monthly accrual doubled. And then we got a final one that was that same number that was doubled. So, my sense is that at 50% of the contract amount paid, when the project is at a 10% completion rate at the time of termination, doesn't compute to me. Now, I know there was a $25,000 front-end load, and I think that we agreed to that, and they deserve that, but even taking that out, we're still talking about 45% to date that we've paid. The other thing that I'll say, and I'll let everybody else talk, is that in these contract situations, when there is some ambiguity, it certainly is much easier to put the onus on the vendor than it is on the person that's gonna pay it. By that I mean, if we pay the $34,000 and ask for it back, that's a much more difficult task than if we don't pay it and just say we believe that we have adequately paid for services rendered to date.
Based on the contract that we had, which we did ask the prosecutor to look at, and he said basically this has to be a decision that we make on the payment, because he saw nothing in the contract that spelled it out any clearly for us on how to handle it. But the contract did have specific termination dates from September 1 of 2015 and expiring on May 31st of 2017. Also clearly says that it would have to be a mutually determined and agreed upon any revisions to that and so forth, which they never asked for and we did not do. Even after we added in contract negotiations, added the termination of convenience, the 30-day out to that contract. Even, they knew that and they knew it was gonna be in there. And then when the dates slid, and we pushed out that the completion was gonna be November of 17, which made it from a 21-month to a 27-month spread. That's when they said, well, we wanna make sure we still have the income, we're gonna still have people on the job and so forth, and we still want to be part of, this is what they had communicated, I think, at that meeting we had at the Public Safety Building. We still want to be part of the project. The onus of, we're an owner's rep, we know that money's been a concern. We didn't ask for and we didn't expect. We wanted to have money to the end. That's why we automatically slid our billing schedule with abiding by the contract that they could not charge more than $85,000 in the pre-construction phase. That's why the amounts were lower the first several months of their work. The CMR did, and that's okay. They're fair. Any of them could have done it. They could have come back and said, hey, we've got to add something. CMR did it for general conditions, for GC work. They factored in time and money that was gonna take, and the owner's rep chose not to do that. I think the other aspect of this, to me, is, and so that's what the adjustment of schedule was. They based it back on what the original contract says, as worded, is the signal this sends to our cooperation and work with contractors of all facets of work that the county does. I think it sends a very negative vibe, and that's just my opinion. I'll leave it at that.
I just,
Can I ask a couple points
Sure.
of clarification real quick? I just want to make sure I understand. When did we notify?
sometime in October.
I mean, do we have a specific date? I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I had pulled that letter, but their
We
final
did-
date ended up being November 30th.
We
The
had to.
final date,
That the contract,
so we would have.
We gave them the
or
notice of that.
the note, yeah.
Well,
So we gave them a notice
Yeah.
that terminated service November
We gave them
30th.
the 30th.
Appropriate,
We,
okay, so.
from a housekeeping standpoint, Shane, we had to get city council's approval as well. Okay, so we had made the decision, or, you know, this board had
Conversations
made-
happened before.
Board had made a decision to tell them that, but then we had to go to, by virtue of the Joint Justice Center meeting, the city said they wanted the right to be able to do it as well. So we went to council and said, you know, what do you think? And I made a little presentation, and they said, yeah.
It took the vote of, unanimous vote
Right.
of all, so the
unanimous vote.
judges and the
Right,
actual.
and we had to tell the judges as well, yes.
And so when did the first double bill come?
The first double bill was for October.
And
As the
that,
invoice passed, you know, they're invoicing the, that's how they.
and we
invoice
paid
it.
that? The first
did.
double bill,
We
the
did.
34?
Yeah.
And so the next double bill is what they're claiming is for November? Okay. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I understood.
Okay, so let's go over the math with Commissioner Stacy's comments, because it's pertinent. They originally terminated their contract May of 17, and then we wanted to extend it to November of 17. Is that fair?
The first,
Their initial contract was through May of 17.
correct, was to May
Okay,
31st of
all right.
17.
And now we're talking about having them hang on until November of 17 at that point.
Right.
So an
And
additional
6
5 months?
6.
June, July, August, September, October, November, an additional 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so the original contract began when?
September,
September to May.
I'm sorry, yeah, September 15th.
Okay, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. So originally it was a 9-month contract that turned into.
September of 2015.
15, it was
to
20,
May
it was a
of
21
17.
month, it was a 21-month contract initially.
Okay, just so we get the facts straight.
Yep. Yeah, it would have been a 21-month contract.
Okay. All right, I have a difficult time advocating to pay someone more than I believe they are owed. And based on pure, at least mathematical logic in my mind, we've got a project that is, at the time of termination, 10% complete. Now, I'll give them the fact that a lot of the work was front-loaded, because we had to get the bids on phase 1 and phase 2. But it was decided once those bids were received, and after discussion with both Silling and Gilbane, they felt very comfortable with the fact that they could continue to do the work that needed to be done to represent us. Again, don't forget, this construction is under the CMR, and the M is manager. And they are hired, Gilbane being they, are hired to manage the project, both from a financial standpoint and a standpoint of bringing us progress reports. So, in my opinion, at that point, we were getting redundant services, and that's why we decided to move forward with terminating the contract for Quando. Having said all that, again, 10% complete. We are billed so far for 50% approximately, and I don't believe that we are obligated to pay any more. As far as the message that it sends to contractors, I think it says that we are fair, but we are firm, and that we're not going to overcharge our taxpayers for services that I believe we didn't receive per contract.
Like I said, I'll just edit that total dollar figure we'd end up paying them in the end is getting a value based on the original terms of the contract. And that's, there's nothing more to say on it, so I guess we can act accordingly, whatever we need to do. So like I said, back to, I guess my original question is, do we need a motion to not pay, a motion to reduce pay, or a motion?
Yeah, well, yeah, the prosecutor's looking for some guidance from us,
Okay, I
so.
don't necessarily need a motion, I need direction.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, the fact that they got wind of the fact that we were gonna cancel, and then they doubled their billing to us, smells a lot like dirty pool to me.
I think-
So I would like to ask for them to return the double billing for October. I mean, clearly, they billed us $17,000 for 6-8 months, and then all of a sudden it doubles. That to me sounds like dirty pool, and I would like to see us request that 17 back. Because I just think that was a grab.
Again, based on the contract is the way I'm looking at it, and services they were providing and doing for us, but.
How I look at that, Shane, isn't that, and I don't disagree, but how I look at that is that they did quote-unquote double bill us for October, but we owed them for November as well. Okay, so in theory, if they would have billed us 17-17, that would have been fair, in my opinion.
Okay.
So if that's the case, then the net effect would be that we just refuse to pay the November billing. So net, they would have billed us that same amount twice for October and November. Okay.
Yeah, I understand.
So my guidance would be that we not pay the final bill and send a note to them from the prosecutor saying, we reviewed the contract, we believe that we have more than satisfied the amount of money as it relates to the percentage of completion of the project, and that we thank them for their service, but we believe that we don't owe it. It's a lot more difficult to pay it and ask for it back than it is not to pay it.
Just have the record reflect that I don't agree with that, but it appears you've got the majority direction to say to proceed with that. And since we're not doing a motion.
Okay. All right, township meeting update. We had a gentleman from the township in here on Wednesday. Tuesday, as many representatives that wanted to show up. The purpose of the meeting was to talk with the township trustees about any issues they may have that they wanted to discuss with the commissioners. And it evolved into mostly talking about EMS services. That wasn't a surprise, don't misunderstand, but the real purpose of the meeting was to talk about issues. And we talked about guardrails, and we talked about, what else did we talk about besides EMS? There were a couple other issues.
Yeah, guardrails, couple road issues, a couple things I need to call and ask with Mark about. Yeah.
So, the end result of the meeting, a lot of discussion, a lot of good discussion. Mr. Majors, Ken was not able to be here, so Danny was here to explain the EMS situation. And there was, a lot of opinions. So Tim Lynch, who is president of the Association of Township
Seneca County
Trustees,
Township.
had agreed to put together, you'll love this again, Shane, another task force to talk about issues, not only EMS, but other issues that the townships may have that they wish to talk to us about occasionally. And it was decided that not only township reps should be included, but also a representation from the volunteer EMS people and a representative from our current EMS administration. Mr. Lynch, and we thought about trying to get that together sometime early February.
Before he left, we tentatively put down February 8th at 6 p.m. here at the commissioner's office, but he's going to make all the phone calls to make sure everybody that wasn't in attendance that we thought should be in attendance would be able to make it. So that's tentatively the date right now is
And
February 8th.
it will be a public meeting, because more than one trustee may want to be here, and more than one commissioner may want to be here. That tentatively is scheduled for November 8th, and the purpose of the meeting is... February.
You just said November.
I would be responsive.
Yeah, February We'll all be here to discuss the issues that are of interest to the townships, but the main topic at this point will be EMS.
And I don't know if this matters to us, we only had one board member there, but I did reach out to Derek just because there was a note in the first area paper about potentially being a sunshine law violation. And he asked if any of the township trustees that came with more than one deliberated, debated on anything. And I said, no, it was pretty much an informational meeting. So just without doing any research, he was, a little taken back with that statement, didn't feel that it would be sunshine law violation.
We did ask specifically that group if they minded if the press were there, whether it's under sunshine or not, and they all agreed it was fine. So,
We weren't trying to not include anybody
Right,
at all.
right. So we'll make this a 24-hour notice, public notice.
Is this-
And I
is
do
this
want the
room-
record to note that Holly and I were not there
Correct.
for that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because of a lack of interest, and we're very interested, but we just wanted to be clear of that issue. So
Yeah.
that's, we didn't attend for that
Yeah.
reason.
I would invite and encourage you to be there to deliberate. February 8th, yeah, February 8th.
With proper notification.
Yeah.
Is this room big enough or necessary for recording? It's not our meeting, it will be recorded because it's a public meeting. I mean, what
Well-
aspect of what? I mean, I thought you said the room was pretty full, didn't know.
We're
if-
not having all of those, there's gonna only be like 7 representatives.
okay,
They're
okay.
gonna have like
Alright.
a representative from each of the joint ambulance districts. They do want, Eden Township wanted to be included just because currently they contract with Sycamore and they,
Right.
City Tiffin does some, so they would like to be included. And then, some of the areas up in the north, but it was only gonna be like, maybe 8 to 10 people that are gonna be attending this meeting instead of the huge crowd that we had the other day. So I think this room would be sufficient.
I wasn't gonna bring this up, but we've had some discussion, and I wanna see what you guys think about this. This room is pretty much unoccupied, except for meetings. And it's probably not a great use of space. So, we talked about maybe.
She's laughing, what did you do?
Well,
This
no.
just came up this morning, so that's why I'm laughing.
Well, I want to give you guys thoughts. Those are
Okay.
portable benches. What's the name of the firm?
Encompass,
Yeah, we're gonna. if
He's
you
gonna
guys
be
are
here
okay,
Friday.
I'm gonna ask Encompass to just look at this and to see whether or not this could be easily converted to a conference area we want it to be a meeting room, of course. But this would be a much nicer space with the recording stuff and all in the back room, because sometimes we don't have enough chairs back there, et cetera. So, I mean, wouldn't it be neat if we could flip a table over and make this into a conference room when it's not in session?
Oh, gotcha. Those benches aren't bolted down.
No.
you're not.
No, we talked about
And I think if
that
we
a
ask our
little
regulars, they'd rather have something nicer to sit on.
bit. Exactly. Yeah. At least put kneelers in there.
So you pray for us.
So it's just a thought. It was just a thought, a random thought, and I know it's not a big deal, but I really think that we could utilize this room a little better because it is kind of, I don't want to say creepy, but it's not really comfortable. And basically, we have storage and stuff back there.
That's a Nikki term, creepy.
It's not the most conducive place for a professional meeting in the back room. Let's just say that.
Well, yeah, it's limited.
Yeah.
And that they're coming up on Friday to talk to me about some of the annex, preliminary discussions for the annex renovation,
And if they
so.
don't give us some ideas here, we're going to fire them. So.
Please don't.
Okay, anything else to add to the agenda, old business or any old business? Any new business? Other than what we have? Okay, you can begin.
All right, I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations to the general fund, putting 2,000 into other expense, legal. This is the workers' comp attorney fees. I have supplement to the permanent appropriations to the VOCA grant fund. She's putting $4,609.19 into other expense. I have a resolution declaring the necessity for tax levy in excess of the 10 mil limitation. This is for the School of Opportunity, one of the follow-up paperwork that needed to be done after the election. I have a resolution reappointing Paul Harrison to the WSOS Community Action Commission for 1-year term, commencing January 1st, 2017, expiring December 31st, 2017. Also reappointing Mike Kirschner to the WSOS Community Action Commission for 1-year term, same commencing January 1st and expiring December 1st of 2017. I have a resolution setting time, date, and place to receive sealed bids for the Board of Election renovations. We've set this for Tuesday, February 7th, 2017, 10:30 a.m. at the Commissioner's office. They will be having a pre-bid walkthrough on February 1st at 10 a.m. For any last-minute questions and comments for any of the bidders. And we will have the documents by the time we advertise, which will be January 20th. We will have the documents up and ready for everybody on it at the first advertisement. We just wanted to get that passed today, get the date set, since we don't have a meeting next week. They wanted to start advertising next week.
Okay, can I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Oh, wait, I got one more,
Yeah,
sorry.
Oh, hold it.
I thought that was my last one. I do have my amendment.
Okay,
I have an amendment to board's orders of January 9, 2017, Journal 93, page 4, for the Community Corrections Grant Fund. She had asked to put $9,000 into contract services, and she only had $6,261.05 available, so that's what she's reducing her amount to.
so I can include that in your motion in your
Yes.
second? Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Roll call.
Just comments, if I may? before
Yes,
roll call?
yes,
Just,
yes.
It's been good working with Encompass on getting to the point of where we are to set that date, time, and place for the Board of Elections renovations on that project, and appreciate the cooperation with the Board of Elections employees as well as the board itself, and their input in working through that process. And like I said, as we move forward with this, it's good to get that office up to some better conditions for the demands that are put on them from the state. So glad we're there.
Okay, any other business to be brought before this board? Citizens' comments, don't let me
Wait,
down.
wait, wait, wait,
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
we gotta
whoa,
vote.
what?
Roll call.
Oh, roll call, hit it.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Yes. Okay, citizens' comments, don't let me down, first day.
Pressure's on, there's only two of you.
Yeah, goodness. Jimmy, you got anything to say?
Well,
Never.
reported, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're not from CNN, because I'd be right on you guys.
Fake news.
And our poor RT guy
I'm gonna call him.
that Review Times couldn't be here today. He had a little mishap, so
Yeah, you probably just broke your shoulder. Goodness.
Oh, jeez.
I told him I'd get the video up as soon as possible in case he found something interesting in our agenda, so.
Okay, I will accept the motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Second? We don't need roll call for that, do we?
No.
We are adjourned at 10:42. I get to do this again. All right.